And you actually called me out on that, remember that?
No,
You called me out on that one time.
I did.
We were having a conversation, and you're like, "Why do you see yourself as a lone wolf?"
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, "Big dogs go eat." You know? No, but you called me out on it. You're like, "Why do you?" Like, something about like,
They were
why-
sitting right over there.
Yeah, you said something like, "Why do you see yourself as a lone wolf?" Why don't you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's a real thing that
Yeah.
I'm beginning to be better about now. And part of that is because I have you two in my life that I can talk this stuff with. Like, it's one thing that when I'm solving things, going through, like I look at like each of us is like our own filter system. I have this thought. I put it through my filtration system. It's being processed through my experiences, my memories, my knowledge, all this stuff. And then I come out with something different. But if I were to take that same package and process it through Alfredo, it's gonna come out different. And I take that same process, put it on you, it'll be different. So the beautiful thing is, as we're having this conversation right now, and even as the listener or read or watcher or whatever, we're each filtering it through our own set of knowledge, experiences, systems, and stuff. So in the end, the same raw materials may have came in, but the packaging will be different in the end.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is, when we have this, we can each compare different packages. Like, oh, I didn't pick that up when you said that. That was really good. Oh, you know what? Hey, look what I got. Oh, I like that. Like, I didn't even see. Oh man, dude.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I'm seeing that now, and thus the reason why I'm being more open and vulnerable and in this season of my life. But prior to me really opening up my eyes to that, I was more of like, hey, I got this.
Yeah. I think it's so much easier to be like that, though, in all honesty.
True, yeah.
Because when you don't have the community around you that you can go about being vulnerable with, you start worrying about, everything that you say, how they're going to end up using it against you and such.
Yeah.
Because throughout life we learned, people will try to take advantage
Yes.
of your weaknesses.
Yes.
So why should I expose myself? That's why men don't really have, genuine relationships outside of, a select few. I think that's the issue. Just by the way that we came up. It's just natural for us to fall into that lone wolf mindset because at times, I really don't want to burden these people with, my issues. So let me not tell them this because maybe they might judge me. While the whole time, if you told that person, what the issue was, they might even love you even more. You know what I mean? So it's difficult to go about being a man in society now because you're not allowed to be vulnerable.
Yes.
I guess they're trying to change that along the ways now, but for the older generations, it's tough to be vulnerable because you're not allowed to show any kind of weakness, even in your family. You know what I mean? You end up having to pay for everything and such. And then the moment that you break down because, I have to do all this stuff and it feels like the weight of the world was on your shoulders. The moment that you can't go about handling that kind of stuff on your own, you feel like a failure,
Yeah.
And then who do you talk to about that? And can you talk to your spouse about it? How would they receive that? How would your friends receive it and such? So you're just extremely careful with the people that you go about letting know what the personal details of your life are because you don't want to be judged. Even though they might be able to give you a potential solution. It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of think of it as, as men, as warriors. I kind of see it the same way that countries also form alliances. You know what I mean? Countries, what do they want? They want power. Why they want it? Maybe they want it for the people. Maybe they want it for the status. Whatever, right? But they want power. And early in days, it was a constant struggle back and forth to figure out where is the line, especially if you're a neighboring country, and one country invades the other one invades the other. So we're always trying to it's a free for all for the resources, And the way I see it is, you will never become allies if one of you isn't vulnerable first. If one of you, if there isn't some sort of agreement to a ceasefire, if there isn't some sort of agreement to sending politicians or ambassadors, and there's no agreement to lower your defenses, be vulnerable, and work together, you'll never have an ally, you know? And it always takes, the bravest person is the one that does it first, you know, because if I lower my defenses here, there's a chance that they might just say, all right, everybody roll in, you know? Or the other person might say, I never really wanted to fight to begin with, you know? Maybe I kind of wanted to just, it would be great if we could just help each other out. So you never know what the other person is thinking, but if you're in a position and if you have the strength to be vulnerable first, to show that the other person you mean no harm, and try and make an alliance, make a deep bond, a friend,
Yeah.
to try it.
Absolutely. Man, another issue that I think that we bump into just as human beings is being able to, you know, put people where they truly belong. Because I believe that even with relationships, at times, they have seasons, right?
Yeah.
And some people are only in your life for a season, right? So if you try to carry somebody that was only supposed to be in your life for a winter time into the spring, summer, and fall, you know, they might be dragging you down. You know, so being able to truly, you know, depict where that person is supposed to be falling in your life is crucial. Otherwise, you might be holding yourself back.
Yeah. There's a pastor out of Texas that Pastor Keith Craft, and I love his content. There's something that he said a while back that just stuck with me. He said, people come into your life for 3 reasons: a season, a reason, or a lifetime. Are they there for a specific season? Are they there for a specific time frame? I'm in a winter time. I need someone in the summer to heat me back up and get me out. And maybe that's all that God meant them to be for, and that's okay. That is. That's a season. A reason. Hey, maybe you're brought together to do something, to do one thing, or to create a movement, something longer. I don't know. A season, a reason, or a lifetime. Lifetime's easy. You know, my goal now in this season of my life is to build these lifetime relationships. Is to align myself with men that I can do life with.
Absolutely.
Not just a season or a reason. Because prior to all of this, when I was just entrepreneurial, business minded, if you weren't in there for a season or a reason, you were out. Really, if we're doing business together or if you're a client, only reason we're gonna talk. If not, peace. I don't have time for it.
We have nothing to talk about.
Right, and that was just me driven, you know, so ego driven. But now I'm like, okay, where are my lifetime relationships at? And I pray that you two are both of them. You know, when I'm sitting here with you guys and we're able to have these type of conversations and be real, I'm like, I told you guys before after we went to the range, I'm like, I see you guys as my lifetime homies.
Yeah.
You know, and I pray that that's what it is. And
Amen.
whether it is or not, that's not up to us.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't, right? Like, it's up to us to nurture that. But it's also like, all right, God, if this is my lifetime guys, and these are my lifetime guys.
Yeah.
You know, but those are the people, you know, season, reason, or a lifetime. The better you can try to distinguish your intentions with people, your intentions with the relationships you have with them, the faster you can distinguish that, the better off you'll be. Because just like you said, is this person in my winter time, like I just need them for the winter, or they're just, God brought them into my life just for my winter, but I'm trying to take them into my summer?
What's the engagement version of like an engagement ring for your bros?
Do I go buy one?
Like, if you're just like, nah, bro, this is for life. You don't buy a ring, right? So like, what do you
I
get?
think it's just a natural progression, you know, tattoo.
You get tattoo.
Preferably the one on the lower back.
Oh, yeah.
The initials and such.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You still got space back there? Or?
Yeah. I'll have to do some laser removal.
I can make that B into a P easy, no problem. Or a P into a B.
Yeah, they do really great cover work now.
Yeah. I got a guy for that. Don't worry. No, but that's so cool though. Like like to have men that you're just like, I'm gonna do life with these dudes. That's it. Period.
Yeah, man.
You asked a question earlier that we didn't answer, and it was, why do you think we don't have? Why do you think nowadays a lot of men don't have a circle of other like-minded men, right? And I don't mean men that it's just an echo chamber and, the sky is purple. Oh yeah, the sky is purple. Yeah, you're right. I'm talking about guys that build you up, guys that will call you out on your stuff and say, hey man, you need to work on this, or hey, you're doing a great job.
Not just yes men.
Yeah. And people to do life with, let's go bowling, let's go
That's a good point.
have a drink, let's go Bible study, whatever.
Or have a drink and Bible study.
Yeah.
Or that. Or that. Don't know what's gonna happen there, but right. So why is that? You know what I mean? Like, and I've contemplated this myself, right? Because I have actively tried to keep people in my life sometimes, right? And I think to myself, oh, this person is, they're successful, or, they're just fun to be around, or whatever, XYZ. There's something that I think would, that I like to be around. So I don't know how to say this. They're not interested, right? It sounds like we're trying to date or something, but it's like
They don't put forth the same effort.
Right, and if it's not putting in the same effort, it's just deliberately like, I don't really go out, I don't really hang out, I don't, I'm busy.
Or I'm not into dudes, right? Like,
Or I'm not into dudes, yeah.
That's the most. Oh, is that what I heard? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. But it's crazy because, how else do you build up those relationships? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't make time, if you don't put an effort, if you don't show some sort of interest in having some sort of wolf pack or some sort of, round table, you know what I mean? You'll never have one, And it's not that I'm like, oh, I want it, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of, hey, like the guys are doing this, why don't you come hang out? Oh no, I'm okay, I gotta go eat waffles at home, or whatever.
Exactly.
But I don't know what that is, My wife, I've talked to my wife about this, and then she's like, yeah, you just come on too strong. And again, it sounds like we're trying to date, but, and she's just like,
I was just trying to wrestle with him, babe.
Yeah.
He didn't want to wrestle.
Yeah. You kept slapping my hand away.
He started getting weird when I took my shirt off.
Yeah. How else are you supposed to wrestle?
How was he supposed to wrestle?
I don't want to get my shirt dirty.
It's my favorite shirt. I don't want to get dirty when we're wrestling. Duh.
Yeah, get crusty.
Only reason why we do that. But it's so. And this is what I love about this relationship. We can joke, we can talk serious, and then like it just flows. And I have that with each of you guys. And like that's where I'm like, okay, cool. I mess with these dudes. Good guys.
Yeah, man.
But to piggyback off what you were just saying, I think it's because we just don't know how. Like, how were our dads with that?
My dad had no friends.
Well, here's the thing. We'll come back to that. My dad's actually super friendly. Like, I wish I had a friend like my dad.
Yeah.
Because that dude shows up for his friends. Like, I've even told him straight up, like, "Pa, you're doing too much, man.
Yeah.
Like, for real, you're gonna drive all the way out there to do that."
Yeah.
But like, that's just how my dad shows up.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm like, why you do that? Why are you doing all that? You know? And then for what you just said, your dad wasn't like that.
Yeah.
No, well, don't get me wrong. My dad was friendly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he had no friends.
Yeah.
Like, my entire childhood, he had one friend that I knew of, right? And I probably saw him maybe 3 times in my lifetime.
Man.
You know?
Yeah.
He had one friend, and
So that's your godfather.
well, that's funny. That wasn't even my godfather. You know, I probably saw that guy more than I did my godfather.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw my godfather once, which I got some stories behind, but that'll be
That's next episode. Next
next episode. But yeah, it's just it's so weird to me because my father was also an extremely paranoid individual. Like he was distrusting. Maybe not paranoid is the right word, but distrusting of everyone.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the way he grew up. Maybe it's where he grew up. He grew up in communist Guatemala in the 20s. You know what I mean? So he had to flee there at some point in time. So maybe he grew up with this. I don't know who to trust. You know.
100%, right?
You know thing.
That's a huge factor for sure.
Yeah, and so when he came over to the States, maybe that transferred over, and then he would always give me these warnings, you know, about friends, because you know, obviously I had friends over, and you know, whatever, and he was like, you have to be careful with friends.
Yeah.
Once the liquor, you know, runs out, they leave. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about, Dad? I'm 7. You know?
Finish that bottle and I'll show you.
You know?
Drink up.
Yeah.
I'll show you exactly what I mean.
Yeah, and so
You're
it
almost
gave me,
7.
it gave me glimpses of like the type of relationships he used to have before he came to Christ, you know, and so.
No, that's
anyways,
legit.
Yeah.
How about you? How's your pops?
Man, very social.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that was the issue. I've never been somebody that likes to be in like a large group. I want like a small, intimate group that I can actually have like meaningful conversation with.
Right.
You know, as opposed to, you know, just drinking it, then getting back home and just feeling like, what did I accomplish? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'd rather the more intentional style relationships, where he was a lot more social, and it seemed like that's exactly what it was. Like, be around all these people, and then finish up, and then it's like, what'd you get from that? So I didn't want that for myself, you know. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. It reminds me of like all the parties that I've gone to when I was like a teenager and stuff like that before I got married and had kids. Now parties are much more meaningful, but it's crazy how you can be in a room surrounded by people and still be lonely.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's legit.
that's
Yeah.
the story of my life, bro.
Yeah.
Story of my life. I think especially
too hard.
Especially, yeah. I mean, I like when I was going through my retirement with the PD. You know, that was what I did.
Yeah.
We would be at family parties. We would be at these social events, and I'd be laughing like, yeah, sure, you know, cracking jokes and stuff. But deep inside, I was just hurting.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to tell someone so bad how I felt,
Yep.
but it was fear of, oh, they're not gonna get me.
Yep.
Or it was fear of like, damn, I gotta explain my whole story again.
Yep.
And I just that route was so much more seemingly exhausting
Yep.
than
Me just being around.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hey, let's crack a joke.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good at deflecting. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what I really leaned into. In that example of like feeling like you're the only one in that room.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, man, like yeah, that hit when you said that. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I get
Nah,
that.
It's legit, man. I like the advice that your dad gave, because I mean it's legit. Like when the wine does run dry, you know who is still going to be around. You know it's valid. You know what I mean? Because you do have those friends that would come around for the good time, but when you actually need them, absent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's very valid.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And you know, as you grow up, you realize who are your real friends first of all,
Yep.
and second of all, who you can have those really deep conversations like, I need you right now.
Yep.
Like, you know, you're gonna show up, and then they're gonna be like, anyways, you know, let's talk about Super Mario Karts or whatever. You know,
Absolutely.
and so it's, you know, who you can be in your summer season with, and who you need when you're in the winter season.
Exactly. Let's see. Man.
And you know what? I'm curious to get your guys' opinion. I think as a friend, like, I'll celebrate your wins with you. Like, of course I'm happy for you. But I feel like now that we're talking about it, call me when you really need me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does that sound bad? Like, I'm not trying to be like, don't call me ever. I'm just saying, just
No.
like, I'm here when you need me, any time of day or night, both of you.
Yeah.
And if it's wins, cool, I'm happy. But like, you know, like I may not have the time for it.
Yeah.
But if you need me, I am there.
Yeah.
And I think like like I think we have to be okay with saying that out loud. You don't have to be the friend that's always there every single time. You actually have to respect how God made you to be as well. Because you don't have to be the yes man friend. Hey, let's go out. Okay, yeah, no problem. Hey, let's go here. Okay, yeah, no problem. Let's go do this. Like,
Yeah.
you're just spreading yourself. You're saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
Like, so you have to be able to say no to the right things, so you can say yes to the right things. And when I say no to things that are, you know, of no real substance, I can say yes to when he messed his hand up. Yo, you okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Exactly.
Right.
Or this guy like, hey, I just landed this huge business deal. Hey, good job. And that's kind
Exactly.
of okay.
Yeah. That's legit.
Drinks at 4.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. Like, I mean, not that it's a bad thing, but I feel like as a friend, when you need me, I am there.
Exactly.
But I may not be your first response of like, hey, let's go out and have a beer, or let's go. I'm like, maybe if we got it, if there's time, sure.
Yeah.
But we all have kids and families, and you know, when we give to all these different things, and we see what's left over for us, I cherish that.
Yeah.
So, you know, just knowing the type of friend you are and being okay with that. You don't have to be like the answer to everybody's problems.
Yes.
Like, you got to
that's
know
right.
the tool, your specific gifts and tools that you were made for, and capitalize on that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be everybody's solution.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
When you first said that, it kind of conflicted with me, right? But then I really thought about it, and I was just like, no, you're right. You know, you do have a life outside your friends. Obviously, we all do. But the reason why it conflicted with me at first was because I have a very small circle of friends, right? And out of that small circle of friends, I might go out with maybe 3 of them, maybe 3 of them, right? And most of the time, it's 1 of them,
Yeah.
right? And so,
That's the guy you wrestle with too, right?
yeah, that's the guy whose name you got to compete with on my back. But anyways, and the reason why I wrestled with that is because whenever one of them says, "Hey, I'm in town," or "Hey, let's go do this," my immediate is yes, right?
Exactly.
Only because 1, I don't see them often. 2, they're so close to me that whatever they're about, I'm about, and. Yeah, so those are my main reasons. But at the same time, it's not. Thankfully, I'm not in a position in my life where I'm too busy, right? Like, I can move things around, or maybe I can negotiate and say, well, I can't show up at this time. How about later? Or can we reschedule or rain check, what have you? But you're absolutely right. You can't say yes to everyone. You can't say yes to everything. You can't. It's impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you have 1, right? Imagine if you had 3 of those, and you're saying yes-ish
Yeah.
to like a couple of them. Whenever that one shows up that's like not really here, like you're spread thin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's how I see it.
Exactly.
You know?
I wonder, because I have groups of friends where they have, whenever they hang out, I mean, they fill up a room.
Yeah.
Like, they fill up this room, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, how do you manage all those relationships, first of all? Second of all, how do you have so much money that you could just have people over all the time,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, you're always you're always the best man, or you're always the maid of honor at all the weddings. You know, you're always got baby showers and birthdays and 4th of July and Thanksgivings. You know, you got like, for Thanksgivings, you have 10 Friendsgivings that you have to attend. How do you manage, man? Like, I have my families and I have a Friendsgiving, and for both of them, I'm just like, I'm glad that's like,
Exactly.
like I'm glad it happened. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that it's
Exactly.
over, because it was a lot of prep.
It was a lot, yeah.
It's a lot of
It's a
prep.
lot.
You know,
It's a
especially if
lot.
you're hosting.
Yeah.
Forget about it, man.
Absolutely. Let's see. I don't know, because I have been that person that wanted
Yeah.
to have like the room full of people and whatnot. But then at the end of the day, it's like, man, everybody just came over. They drank all the liquor. They ate all the food, and then only a couple people stuck around like after everything was gone. To help clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this kind of sucks.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know.
So that's really when the meaningful relationships really started. Like, all right, you need to scale back a little bit.
Yeah.
And started like being intentional about the people that I was hanging out with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that at times we do need to go about making time for ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's like you said, if you take time to manage everybody else's crises, then you're not really taking time to manage your own.
Yeah.
Because we know that everybody's experiencing something at any given time. It's just the level of what they're experiencing. But managing everybody else's crises, you're inheriting some of their feeling and such.
Yes.
And then you're putting that burden on yourself. And then
Yeah.
you never really have the time to go about dealing with what it is that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And then everything just compounds, and you get to that moment where it's like, I can't do this on my own.
Yes.
Or you have just that physical/mental breakdown. It's like, dude, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then who can you turn to?
Yeah.
Because when you start calling people, if you don't have the meaningful relationships, they close you off. And then you feel like you're going through everything by yourself.
Right. And that's a quick way to just go down that rabbit hole of like, no one gets me.
Yeah.
I am different. I am, it's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, there's, I forgot who said it, but they're like, there's two ways, everyone thinks like I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. And I've read all these different books and different ways of like distinguishing either one. Obviously we're a mix of both, like kind of like different ratios of each. You kind of lean more towards one primary and secondary. But the best way it was ever explained to me, and that one that really resonates with me, is like if you are an introvert, it's how you recharge, how you recharge your energy. If you're an introvert, you recharge by yourself. If you're an extrovert, you recharge with a lot of people around you. So like some of these really big social butterflies that need these big crowds and stuff, it's because that's how they're recharging. And then when I understood that, I'm like, dude, I feel like people always think I'm an extrovert because I can, make jokes and kind of, be open or whatever, like and I crack jokes and be friendly. But I actually am an introvert because I recharge on my own.
Exactly.
That's my alone time is,
Decompression.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of process what I went through throughout the day, or even like I just don't do anything and I just smoke a cigar, or I sit outside, and those alone times and recharging is, I believe, when I can like, all right, God, I know it's been a busy day, I know a lot of things have been taking my attention. Did I miss something you were trying to tell me today?
Exactly.
And that's how I recharge. It's like I really am more intentional about going back to God.
Yeah.
And having that alone time. And even, I'm so blessed to have a wife that understands that now. Like, before, I didn't communicate with her how important my alone time was. I was saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
And when I explained to her, like, babe, like, I don't do alone time because I'm trying to get away from anybody. I'm not trying to get away from you. I just need it for me. It's not, you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I just need this for me.
Yeah.
And then, when we finally had that conversation, she's like, hey, go have a cigar, go do your thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, man. Not being able to communicate those kinds of things, I think it's kind of setting up our families. Because I know one of the topics was supposed to be legacy, man, and
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
not being able to, show emotion and such. Your kids are gonna grow up saying, my dad never showed any kind of emotion, so that's exactly how I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
My mom was the very loving person, and everything that I've heard about relationships says that you either go for the person that your mom or dad was or wasn't.
Yeah.
So you're looking for somebody that is very sensitive, but then you got to understand what comes along with that. You want the person that's very sensitive, but they're going to be crying all the time, whatever. So not being able to handle those kind of things, and that it's a trickle-down effect. So everything that you do or don't do is going to impact your kids. So, being able to set up the right, ratio, I guess, if you want to call it, of being able to be caring but then being able to set aside that time that you can just go about reflecting, like you said, with God.
Yeah.
You know, it's crucial.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're essentially telling your kids like it's not okay for you to ever have any alone time to be able to just think about what it is that you experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you always have to be surrounded by people in order to, you know, be able to get things done.
Yeah.
And your kid might end up being the introvert
Right.
that needs to take that time to just process.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And they need to know it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
it's okay. Like you're in this season of your life,
Yeah.
right? Like that's okay.
Exactly.
That's so good, man. That's so
And
good.
really, that's the only real legacy we'll leave, right? Is our children. You know, I mean, that's I guess arguable, right? For people that have created these empires, right? People that have created this small, you know, family business, and now they're a big pharmaceutical company. You know, maybe that was the legacy that they wanted, but I think really the legacy that God wanted us to hand down was from us to our children.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and to instruct His word in the walls of their hearts.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, so I wanted to bring something up to you all. Just the influence that the different genders have, right? So, yes, a man is supposed to be, you know, the leader and such of the house and such. But you really think about the influence that a woman has over their household,
It's huge.
Oh, huge.
you know?
Huge.
Of course.
We talk about dudes all the time because that's like that's our
Yeah.
target demographic, right? And that's who we are.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away on the influence of women.
Man, even biblically, you think about all the men that fell to women,
Yeah.
you know? Samson having his hair cut by Delilah, you know?
I heard she doesn't mean faith. Oh, just taper the back a little bit.
Yeah.
Keep it tight. Keep it
You
tight.
know? Yeah, man. David after Bathsheba and such. You know what I mean? But it's just tough because I think that in seasons of life, you go about going after things that you might be neglected in other areas with. Right? So when you start falling to the temptation of lust for another woman, you might be experiencing a disconnection from your spouse, from your girlfriend, whatever it might be. So you're looking for that connection that you might be lacking from your spouse, even though it's just a small portion of what it is that they do for you. Right? So I want somebody that can cook for me. And so you go out and you meet somebody, oh yeah, I cook every day. But then you find out that they don't clean their feet.
Bro,
Okay, we've officially entered Operation Redwood After
Bro,
Dark.
that's the one.
Yo, you didn't wash your feet today? No.
You made my pancakes with them crusty feet?
You let me suck that thing?
Bro, how did we get there? How did we get there?
Okay. All right.
Dude, I was looking you dead in the eye, bro, when you said that. I was like, what? Yo, she made the greatest mashed potatoes but her feet. Oh my god,
can't,
dude.
man.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad we got that recorded.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay, we know your deal breaker.
Got it. Yeah.
Toes are unclean. Got a bunion or a callus or.
Anna got great feet, man.
Oh jeez, we know your standards, bro.
We
High
get it,
standards.
we
Big
get
span,
it.
big span here.
I'm telling
You just said that so seriously, bro. I was like, what?
Got dirty toes.
She got the fuzzy things in between her toes.
Oh no, hell no! You got Bam Bam feet? No. Put your clothes back
Oh,
on.
dude, put your socks back on.
Yeah, I'll call you an Uber right now. Bye.
Oh my gosh, bro, that was hilarious, man. I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can hold this laugh in.
Oh, dude, there's no holding that one in. That was good. That was good.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
so
man.
good, man. Oh.
But you know, in those kind of situations, man, that's when you end up encountering the exact thing that you are lacking, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like the devil is always in the details. You find that one person that can go about filling just this little niche but then they're missing everything else that you need, or that you would mark off as a criteria, just because whatever you're experiencing, whatever. It's just interesting that that's exactly the timing that you go about meeting those kind of people.
Yeah. Well, you only need to crack a window
Yeah.
to give the enemy a way in.
Yeah.
You don't have to open a door. You just need a crack.
Yeah.
You just need to leave it ajar a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's so good.
yeah, but it's true. It's
Yeah.
very true. Especially when you feel like you're in pain for whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that's all that's replaying in your head, and that's in the moment that you see that in someone else.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's nice.
Absolutely.
So
But it's
yeah.
not just women; it's jobs and all that stuff too.
Everything,
You know what I mean?
everything,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Man, it's tough.
But going back to your the influence of a woman, right? And how it could be a bad thing, but really how God intended it to be a great thing. For us to work together. Scripture says that he who found a wife has found grace, right, or favor in the Lord's eyes. And I know a lot of women get upset at the fact that God calls women's helpers, right? Helpers of men. But really it's because they don't understand the depth of what God means by helper, right? So if you look at the Aramaic that was the actual Aramaic word that was used for helper, right? It's a word that God uses throughout the rest of the Old Testament for himself.
Yeah.
Like it's a word that God uses as helper for himself. It's a word that God uses for helper for someone that you would be unable to do XYZ without God at that point in time. That's the word. That's the amount of power that God gave women. The amount of influence that God gave women.
Yeah. It's legit.
Yeah, to reference to them as if in a word that he also uses to reference for himself. It's not a lowly thing. It's not a servant thing. God's not our servant. God, he serves us out of love, and yeah, absolutely, just the way that we serve each other, the way that we serve our wives, our kids. But we are not. They are not our masters, right? And so that's something that I feel a lot of women need to understand. I know, like I said, plenty of women get upset at that word helper. Oh, I'm not any less than him. No, you're not.
No.
That's not what God meant when he said helper,
Wow, that's huge.
It is, man.
I heard something similar when you said that. Like, I believe the original meaning of blessing was also something that only God could provide. So like that totally, helper and blessing were definitions that God originally meant, but has been diluted over time. We look at blessing now, it's like better house, better car, better job, more money, whatever.
That $100 that you found.
The $100, thank you, Lord, that's a blessing. And it is, it is, right?
Absolutely.
But God's original meaning for blessing was something that only he could provide, that myself with my own two hands could not do without him. So that was the blessing. But to us, it's like, oh, thank God, I got blessed with the coffee. Alfredo blessed me with coffee today. No,
He bought it.
I was a helper.
Nice.
No, but yeah, it's just so interesting, and I would love to dive into this topic next time on like a deeper. Hey, what's the role in women, right? We shouting out all these dudes.
Yeah.
But there is a huge importance, just like what you're saying, to women. Because I always say, I accredit my dad to giving me this warrior mentality, this warrior identity. But the truth is, my mom is the one that gave me faith.
Yeah.
My faith comes from my mom. So, yeah, I would love, that's such a great topic for next time. So, y'all better subscribe to the newsletter, because if you don't, you're not going to hear that episode.
Hello.
Tell you, man.
Hello. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, kind of, sort of. I don't know. We'll think about it. We'll think about
Yeah,
it.
we'll
see.
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But any last words? We talked about a lot today, and these are so fun. I love when we can do this live because of this right here. It's like a comedy show / like some when you guys go off and start preaching. I'm like, yeah. Any last words for the listeners? Because we did talk about a lot, but what's your big takeaway from today? And what's an actionable step? Because I want to start wrapping these up with something that they can do now, regardless of the season or place you're in life. What's something you can do today, and apply that right off the bat? And I'll get things going. We talked about being among other men, having these key relationships. And my tip for you guys today, if you don't have that, if you don't have these key relationships, these lifetime relationships, be the friend you wish you had. Be that type of friend. And then you will find those type of people. Be it first. Don't expect anybody to come save the day for you. Be that first. Lead by example. That's for me. That's what I got.
Absolutely. So mine goes along with that. Just being intentional in the things that you say and do. So letting your yeses be yeses and your nos be nos. So
Integrity.
Absolutely. Not saying yes right off the bat to something that you might regret later on in the future. Being intentional about the time that you spend with people. Making those relationships meaningful, and really being able to recognize what seasons / whatever you want to call it, that somebody is supposed to be taken up in your life. Be more intentional.
Good.
I don't know why. This is just something that when you said, actions or takeaways, and the first thing that came to my mind was, whoever's listening, I don't know who needs to hear this, call your parents. All right, tell them you love them. All right, let's just start there. Right, one of the commandments is honor your father and your mother, so that you can have, prosperous and long days. Right. So, I don't know what's going on there, but call your parents and tell them you love them.
That's really good.
That's all I got. That's all I really have to say. I don't know why.
Well,
Because the rest takes care of itself.
The rest takes care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they got some good advice for you. I don't know.
Absolutely.
someone's gonna hear this today, or whenever they hear this recording, and whenever we post it, and they're gonna call their parents. It could be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Hopefully, we can get this out sooner than later. I think that's such a powerful word. That dude, this is gonna be like a testament to God's power in this. Like you called it out, and there's that seed that's planted. And there's, my mentor said there's always a harvest whenever you plant seeds. What we're doing with this podcast, what we're doing with Operation Redwood, all these things that we got going on, we're planting seeds. So I'm really curious and excited to see what harvest comes out of that seed you just planted.
We'll know one day.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't.
Maybe we
Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't.
That's
maybe
okay.
we will. Maybe we won't. Right? Like you listener might not ever tell us what happens, but you know what? We're just gonna continue planting seeds, and that's just such a. I think that timing was perfect. So, thank you, boys. Thank you, men.
Thank you for having us.
So, clean your feet.
Yes.
Clean your feet.
That is correct.
That's gonna be the title of today.
Yeah.
Clean your feet.
Really.
No, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
Redwood out.
Later. All right, guys, that wraps up episode 5, part 2. I hope that you guys had a great time hanging out with us. I hope you had a great time laughing with us. These moments are just so rare, and we want to make sure that we capture every single part of it and share it with you guys, because the laughs are just such a fun time. Hanging out with Bryant and Alfredo on our Saturday mornings and making these episodes for you guys. I genuinely look forward to it every week. And as you can see, we have a ton of fun with each other. We're able to talk, have these deep conversations about topics that aren't normally talked about, and then especially shared on a platform like this, online, social media, through a podcast, whatever that looks like, right? So we're just so happy that you guys are here. If you're not already, make sure you go visit operationredwood.org and subscribe to our newsletter. That way, every week, every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Central Standard, you receive our weekly episodes straight into your inbox. A lot of people have been asking, how do I listen to the episodes? If I listen on Spotify or listen on Apple, you can easily subscribe on those platforms, but we also try to make it even easier by sending it directly to you in your email. So hopefully that helps out. If you're not on there, make sure you go visit the website. Get on there so it'll be a lot easier for you. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon.